Hey guys, now that Close Beta 3 has ended, I've been asked by a couple of people to give a final build update, just in case Jaws doesn't catch the fattest nerf possible going into release. But I can't imagine that would happen, but I've been asked this a couple of times, so I just wanted to let you guys, in on what I had. Just as context, our warband has finished first in both splits. With this one being by like the largest margin possible. Um, as for the build, it hasn't really changed too much. Most of the updates that I've had to it were mostly just upgrading the tiers on the gear, but I'll go over the gear pieces that I'm using and then the mods that I have as well. So the jaws, the durability is kind of screwing up what I can see, but it's a tier 3 jaws or tier 2 jaws, sorry. Um that's basically it with double crit rate. My lore is tier 4 with double crit damage. My Falcon hat is tier 4. Falcon mask tier 5. Tier 3 on the gloves. Tier 3 on the shoes. Tier 5 on the jacket. And then tier 5 on the heavy duty pants. I run the Shaman top in PvP, and that is tier 3. For the mods, I have Pinpoint Strike. Pinpoint Strike is the only bomber mod that you really need for PvP, and it's one of two that you can run for PvP. All of the other ones are just kind of bad. Unstable bomber damage, element damage, crit damage. You basically want to only be going for crit damage, status damage, element damage, and bomber damage. Magazine capacity is really nice, but it's kind of like a if you can get it, then go for it. If not, you want to just jack up your crit damage, status damage, element damage, and bomber damage as high as it can go, especially for PvE. So this is basically a 3 roll, but they're all pretty low. For the lore, it's kind of different. You still want Pinpoint Strike, but you really want to go for Bomber trigger chance. If you have a gold trigger chance and I believe it's green trigger chance on the mask, you'll have 100% trigger chance, and it just makes the lore super consistent. It does really feel bad whenever you are using it and then it doesn't proc, even though it's like a 90% chance with the purple trigger chance, but it is what it is. You're basically using the jaws as a sniper anyways. For the helmet, Fateful Strike is the way to go. Again, crit damage, status damage, element damage, magazine capacity, anything like that is fine. Usually you want to get a 2.5 to 3 roll. This is a 2.5, just because I have so much reload speed on other mods. For Reckless Bomber, the only mask mod that you can use, bomber damage, element damage is like the only two. The reason that I kept this one is because mask mods are extremely hard to farm, and if I'm not mistaken, bomber damage actually got changed where it can only roll on weapons, and this was a purple bomber damage on mask. So I decided to keep it even though it relatively sucks because it's only like a 1 perker. Chests, you can kind of use different perks. Um, Enduring Shield has been good for me in PvP, but because of the fact that PvP is kind of unbalanced right now, and like if you've ever seen any of the highlight videos, like I'm hitting for like 30 to 40k bombers, so if you reduce it by even half, you're still dead. But against regular people that don't really know how to build properly, Enduring Shield is really good, and the other one that does the 50% is also good. If you don't have any of these, like this is like a super good roll with like healing, crit, and element, both being purple and gold. If you don't have that, you can just run like a health mod, which you get from Giant. You can run a blue mod for status damage or anything like that. You can just kind of run whatever you like here. This is probably the mod that you'll have the most freedom with, so just go for sub rolls. For the pants Deadshot, there isn't really any other leg mod that you can run off the top of my head that's like as good as Deadshot, especially for like PvE. PvP, it's nice. You're gonna one shot people anyways, so like if you're doing PvP and you have good sub rolls, I would just do like a health. I wouldn't really go for Deadshot, but because this Deadshot has health on it and it has high status damage and crit damage, I decided that I'm just not going to change it. My health mod isn't super great. It's mostly for like PvE, but again, Deadshot is just better in PvE. The gloves, you need to be running crit rate. There is no reason to run anything else currently because you can't get crit rate on substats. So mag capacity, crit damage, status damage, reduction, and element. For PvE, you could run weak spot damage. Um, you could run weak spot and then just take off Fateful Strike and put something else on there, like Precision Strike or something like that. I've seen people also try Deviation Expert in PvE, but I'm lazy and I don't really like feel like looking for hitting headshots, so I just use Fateful Strike still, with crit rate. Crit rate is doubly nice because it increases how frequently you proc, it increases your proc damage, and also just makes it so that you only have to shoot twice instead of 4 times. So you want to jack up your crit rate as high as you can go. Covered Advance is the best mod in the game currently for PvP, and honestly in PvE as well. It's probably the most consistent. You wouldn't think that because it's got a set timer and you can't really control when it's going, but it's a 6 second downtime and it is up for like 30 seconds. So like in PvE, if you notice that it's not up, you can just wait outside the door for like 2 seconds and then you clear the entire room, and that takes 15 to 20 seconds at most, and then you loot everything, you run to the next room, and it should be up again. In PvP, there's a lot of downtime if you've ever watched any of the videos, so you know that like if you're sitting on a cliff sniping, it'll always be up. You know that if you're spawn camping or ratting around your base, you know that it'll always be up just because you have so much downtime. You're not really taking a lot of damage. If you are getting shot, you'll probably die anyways, so it's not like a big deal anyways. And that's it for the mods. For the Cradle, it hasn't really changed much. I was using Steady Hand instead of like the bugged one because this is just blunt damage crit rate for melee. This was good when I was trying out the Black Cat Sniper. I think it was called the Black Panther, but I think it's Black Cat now. They reverted the lore from Colossus, which was weird, but they didn't revert the other one. But I was just trying it out. If you are using it, that's what I would use. If you're using the lore, it doesn't really matter. So I would just keep this on just in case. But pistol damage, crit rate boost, tactical combo for the damage is really good in PvE. Flame resonance for status damage is really good on everything. Medicine, always you want to have that. There's no reason not to run it. Reloading for unstable bomber is really good. You could preload. You can shoot a bullet and then reload and roll, and then you'll have a bonus of 25 plus 30, so it's 55% bonus damage to your explosives, and then 30%, so that's 85% total damage to your blast damage. And it is really good, as you can tell. I guess I can do a, a damage test. Where are my dummies? So let's see. So covered advance is just about to end. So I shot a bullet and then I will reload, roll. Didn't get a crit on the first one, but still at 42. I'm getting about 30k explosions. I'll let this one de-tick down. I'll roll again. So 47 was the highest. About 47k DPS on dummy tests. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. Close beta 3 is basically at an end. My warband has basically stopped warring just because we've already gotten the rankings. So if you guys have any questions before release, just let me know, and then join the official Discord and put down any feedback if you guys participated in the tests. It really helps out. Peace.